first night back since the renovations. I must say that chap from Brookridge has done a splendid job. Small miracle, considering he had recently lost 3 toes and 2 family members. But what was I to do? He wouldn't be persuaded to abandon the construction of some worthless temple to aid me in my time of crisis. And his predecessor had simply the worst taste in furnishings. I was generous to let him live as long as I did. Now that awful scent of burnt wood and flesh has dissipated, perhaps I shall throw a party. Ursula and Penelope will be my guests of honor. Shame Andrew crumbled to ashes in the fire. What a sweet young fellow, but such a heavy sleeper. It's good to be home after these 3 last months at sea. My ship barely made it to port under the weight of such spoils, and then only after we disposed of those less valuable. It was a pity to see my new brides sink into the ocean, but their sizable attributes rendered them unfeasibly heavy, and I'd already tossed all non-essential crew members into the ever-undulating arms of the Kraken. I believe my most cherished memory from this voyage has to be the discovery of an island far to the south of Albion, among waters of indescribable blue. There, men and women consort in ways even I found slightly objectionable. They have little need for clothing under that gentle sun, and their fondness for a syrupy liqueur made from an obscenely shaped fruit made it almost too easy to plunder their possessions. I might have stayed there forever had it not been for the monkey incident. I am filled with a wonderful weariness tonight. My bedroom is far too crowded to get a good night's sleep, and I'm too indolent to eject any of my lovely guests. Instead, I thought I would sit in my study, sipping a restorative beverage and enjoying my own company. It reminds me of my very first evening in this house. My bedfellows were fewer and less charming then, but I had little energy left anyway. It isn't every day that one murders a pirate king and takes his place. Oh, I had the vigor of youth back then. Real youth. How many must I have killed on my way to this very room? I shall never forget the look on the brigand's face, one so ill-suited to royalty of any kind. How he came to such a position, being so slow on the draw. I feel somewhat reinvigorated now, and I hear stirrings upstairs. Perhaps the night isn't quite over yet. I received an unusual visitor today, an adventurer who'd toddled in through Wraithmarsh, losing neither life, limb, nor sanity on the way. This alone would have been sufficient to mark her as a unique individual, but once I'd learned she had escaped from the demented grip of none other than Lord Lucian, I knew I had quite a catch in my hands. I've sent an emissary to speak with Lucian and come to a lucrative arrangement. Since the time of the tribute is nearing, I can already feel the wrinkles begin to form on my face. I sent the poor cow to the Shadow Court to keep her busy. I'm sure the old loon in the spire won't mind if I post her back slightly decrepit. Should make it easier to keep her locked up. I think I'll celebrate my good fortune by commissioning a new portrait. I've heard of a chap with some sort of magical apparatus that renders almost lifelike results. I believe his name is Barnum. I shall have him brought to me today.
And the last one.
I awoke from the nightmare again. One would think that more than 200 years would suffice to blunt its steel. But still I see Oakvale devoured by shadows. Still those shrieks fill the air. How much longer must I live before they fall silent? Such dreams belong to another time, to another man, one who would recoil from the things I've done since that night, who might even care about all the sacrifices I've offered up to the odious judges over how long? Hundreds of years. I see that man as he was back then, as beautiful as me, as fiery as me, but so delicate, so breakable, and so afraid of death. I see him summon the Shadow Court into this world, oblivious to the consequences. He asks them for immunity for the disease of time and death, and they grant it. Then I see him running madly through fields, the realization of just what price he has unwittingly paid, hanging like a tragedy mask from his face. He falls to his knees before the town he called home, now a dark circus of screams. Hers is among them, but he can do nothing to stop it. What a weak, despicable man he is. But I am not he. I am Reaver. And I will sleep much better after this chalice of wine.